In this video, we will take a look at the difference between class methods and instance methods. The main difference is that class methods can access and modify class attributes, but cannot access and modify instance attributes directly. On the other hand, instance methods can access and modify both. They can access class attributes and instance attributes and modify. So let's head over to PyScripter and check it out. Okay, so I'm back in PyScripter and continuing on from the previous video. First, going to create an instance method. We do that by using the def keyword, and then we set the name of the method, which will be set coord x, our parentheses and our colon, and we start with self in the parentheses, and we want this to take a new x value. We then go into our function and we use the self keyword dot coord x, just like in our constructor method, and set this equal to the new x. I'm going to remove some of the code down here, just so we are left with the creation of our point 1 and point 2. When we create our point 1, we set the x to 10, and for point 2 we set it to 5. After each, I'm going to call the set coord x, so point 1 dot set coord x, and our new x is going to be 100. I will then print point 1 dot coord x to see that that has updated. We'll do similar for point 2. We'll say point 2 dot set coord x, and we will supply in 11. We will then print point 2 dot coord x. We'll remove this print geom type for now and run our script. And we can see that our coord x for our point 1 was updated to 100, and our coord for point 2 was updated to 11. Let's create another method. We'll call this def update geom type. Again, we'll use self, and we'll set this to geom type, and we'll call self dot geom type equals geom type. Now remember, the geom type is a class attribute. From point 1, I'm going to call point 1 dot update geom type, and set that to equal multipoint once more. Now I'm not going to call it for point 2. I'm simply going to print point 2 dot geom type, and we'll also print the geom type for point 1. I'll just copy that code and paste up and print for point 1, and let's run the code. So let's take a look at what happened here. We created our point 1 and then set the x coord to be 100 after we had instantiated to be 10, and we can see it updated to 100. We then updated the geometry type for our point 1 instance, and we used an instance method to do that, and it updated it to multipoint. Now remember in the last video when we updated the class attribute using the class itself, it updated each object instance. Here we are using an instance method to update the class attribute, but it is only affecting the instance that we updated it for. we can see down here when we created point 2 and we printed the geom type without altering, it honored the original class. Let's take a look at a class method. Class method has a decorator at class method above it. It still uses the def keyword, and let's try and use it to update an instance attribute. So I'll just say update coord x. Now class method, instead of uses self, uses CLS as the keyword, and then we'll take in a new x. Instead of self, we're using CLS dot, and we want to try update coord x. We can see here we're not even getting auto type. We set this to equal the new x. I'll comment out our set coord, and let's use the point class method to update coord x, and we'll put in 99, and we'll do the same for point 2 dot update coord x, and we'll put in 75. I'll comment out where we're updating the geometry type. We are just interested to see if our update coord x class method will update our instance attributes coord x. Run the script, and we can see we still get our original values. Although we did not get an error, our class method failed to update our instance attributes. And this is an important factor of class methods. They cannot directly update or modify instance attributes. Our first point had 10, we tried to update it to 99. It failed to do so, and it stuck with the original 10. Our point 2 we got was 5, and we tried to update to 75, and it remained at 5. I'll clear the interpreter window. It's going to put in a comment. This does not work and will not alter the instance attributes. Let's try another class method. At class method, we say def update geom, and we use CLS, and we take in a geom type. We call our CLS dot geom type, and we say that this time we got the auto complete, that we could access the geom type attribute, the class attribute. And we'll set that to equal the new geom type. I'll comment out all our code except for the point 1 instantiation and the point 2, and we'll call point 1 dot update geom. That is our class method, and we'll supply in multipoint, and we will print point 1 geom type, and we will print point 2 geom type. Let's run our script. Now this time it both changed to multipoint. Remember the last time we used an instance method to update, and it only updated for point 1 but not point 2. Here we are using a class method to update the geometry to multipoint, and it has affected both our point 1 and our point 2 this time. So I want you to head over to your reference workbook and fill in notes from this video. It is important that you understand the difference between a class method and an instance method. An instance method can update a class attribute and only affect that instance, that object. Whereas if we use a class method, it'll update for all instances of that class. In this video, we took a look at instance methods and class methods, and we saw the subtle difference, or not so subtle difference, between the two of them. While an instance method can access and update both class attributes and instance attributes, when it updates a class attribute, it only does so for that instance of the object. Whereas if you use a class method to update a class attribute, it updates that attribute for all instances of that class. However, a class method cannot alter an instance attribute.